I'm James Swanwick. This is the Alcohol Free Lifestyle Podcast, where you learn to live a life of health, wealth, love, and happiness.
When you wake up in the morning after another night of drinking, more broken promises, more bad behavior, careless words, what sort of things do you say to yourself? Do you call yourself names? Have you repeated this cycle so many times that you're wondering if the things you call yourself are really, to your core, true? Are you experiencing cognitive dissonance because you can remember a time when you had really good character? And yet, as you continue to drink maladaptively, you start to question that and say, am I a bad person? Welcome to the show. My name is Victoria English. I'm the head coach over here at Alcohol Free Lifestyle. If you feel like I'm crawling around inside your head right now, you're not alone. It's interesting, isn't it? We can have such different lives from one another, such different backgrounds, different experiences. But when we are dealing with maladaptive drinking, it's almost like we're all following the same script, isn't it? I understand because I was there for years. Off and on, off and on, off and on. Finally, I got alcohol behind me. And I can look back in hindsight with some compassion for myself, some true disgust and anger at big alcohol, and an incredible passion for helping others. Getting to the other side of this stuff lit a fire in me. And that's why I do what I do today. So thanks for listening. I would like to share with you a list of character traits. If you have a pen and paper handy, I'd like you to write some things down in a moment. If you don't, that's okay. Maybe you take a mental note or jot things down in the notes section of your phone. When you are actively drinking, and I'm not talking about the first drink where you're just smiling and relaxed. I'm talking about drinking. When you're in the act of drinking, or just caught in the cycle of drinking. So maybe you're not actively, you don't have a drink in your hand, but you're in that cycle. Which of these traits sound like you? Reckless, foolish, arrogant, rigid, overthinking, ruminating, stubborn, unproductive, a poor team player, self-absorbed, illogical, lacking empathy, impulsive, glutton, deceitful, cynical. Take a deep breath. It's okay. Now, take a moment and try and release. Let those emotions just pass through you. That may have been hard to write down. Yeah, I get it. Now let's go back to you without alcohol. The person that you were before alcohol started living rent-free in your brain and in your life. Remember them? Remember him or her? Which of the following characteristics might apply to you before alcohol? Brave, funny, confident, curious, open-minded, careful, determined, tenacious, loyal, productive, independent, collaborative, charismatic, integrity, honest, decisive, leader, adaptable. You can take a moment and add some of your own. So that's a list of some character traits that could be indicative of a person with good character and a person who lacks good character. Do you miss that old you? Do you wonder where he or she went? If you're listening to this podcast, I just want to give you a little side note here. If you're listening to this podcast, that version of you is still in there. Because if you really were the person on that first list, you wouldn't care enough to listen to this. You'd be doing something else. You wouldn't think about your loved ones and the impact that your drinking is having on them. You would just continue to tell yourself that it's okay, they're fine, and you deserve it because of all you do for everybody else. But you're here with me, listening, and I thank you for that. In Alcoholics Anonymous, there's a lot of talk about character defects. Defects of character. And there are things you can do. You can ask God to remove them. And yet, the implication is that you will continue to default to your character defects, implying that they are permanent, that you were born that way, that you are defective, and the best you can do is ask God to take them away and keep saying that you're sorry when they show up. Now, you guys, if you've listened, you know how I feel about AA. I'm a fan of it. If it works and it has helped me, and I incorporate some of their things into how I live my life. Except, in a way, to be honest, my experience is that when someone behaves a certain way, and they're hardcore AAers, they might say something like, oh, that's just my character defect showing up. Oh, sorry, I do that because I'm an alcoholic. Yep, that's my character defect. So let's say it's someone who keeps talking over another person. They keep interrupting them and making the conversation all about themselves. And it's pointed out to them, and they're like, oh, it's because I'm an alcoholic. That's my character defect. It's almost like then it's back on us to go, oh, well, I guess we just have to let him keep talking over and interrupting because that's his character defect. It's almost like a little bit of a cop-out, isn't it? Because I'm looking at it going, well, perhaps you could practice some active listening skills. Maybe you I don't know, pinch your finger or something to keep yourself from talking over people, and take a breath and pause and actually wait for them to finish what they're saying. Maybe you practice giving feedback instead of then turning it and making it all about you again, right? So is it like something that you can fix, or it's just how it is? It sounds kind of like it's just how it is. But here's the thing. Because when I was drinking, because I'd done it for years off and on, I really started to believe that those bad traits defined me, that's who I am. Oh, wow. Well, that was really depressing. I did not like that. And so, couple of points. The stuff, the good traits, that's how the marketers want you to think. Those are the promises of alcohol, aren't they? Look at those wonderful characteristics. And alcohol marketers tell you that if you drink, you're going to get these things. You're going to be funny and brave and patient, energetic. I'm just looking at this list. Imaginative, charismatic. I mean, come on. Really? And so when it doesn't happen and the opposite happens, we start to think, wait, what happened? That's the cognitive dissonance. And then we do it again and again and again, and we really start to believe that's who we are. What if the real you is the person that you described in the second part of my question? And what if that version of you that comes out when you're in the cycle of drinking is simply because you are a human being under the influence of a highly addictive drug that is not only accepted but expected in our society? A drug that the first thing it does is hijacks your prefrontal cortex, which is your decision-making part of your brain. Yeah, it kind of turns down the noise because it's hijacking your prefrontal cortex. But it also affects your decision-making. I'll just stay. I know I was supposed to leave after one drink, but it's fine. Everyone will be fine. It's fine, right? That's not really you. That's you under the influence of a drug. So what if you just try that on, right? And then it goes into the midbrain, and that's where, you might become a little bit obnoxious. That's where you tell people what you really think of them. And you send the texts, and you order the stuff online, and you get behind the wheel, or whatever reckless stuff people do when they drink. It's not you. It's the booze. You've heard me say that. And so in our program, Sometimes people will ask, is this like an alcohol-free thing? Like I don't drink during it? No, you don't. Because when we remove that substance, your brain and your body begin to heal, and you return to who you really are. And that's where the magic happens. That's where you start to reconnect with the real you. You learn to process emotions that you've been avoiding. They won't kill you, but alcohol wants to. You connect with others and you get honest. You find your sense of humor again. And you realize that you, in fact, are enough. You don't need this drug and its empty promises. You begin to see those marketers for who they are. It's the money grab. And you take your life back. I invite you to remember the real you. Remember your character, your true nature. That version of you that shows up, we can help you retire him or her. It's our pleasure. It's nice to meet you. And I hope I get to help you meet you very soon. Until next time, take great care and have an awesome day.
Hi, I'm James Swanwick. Have you downloaded my free Alcohol Freedom Formula yet? If not, you can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/guide. You can download it. It will outline the same process that we walk our clients through in our flagship 90-day stop drinking program. You'll also get an email from me each day with tips and tricks to reduce or stop drinking, to improve your health, nutrition, mobility, and lots of other great mindset techniques. That's alcoholfreelifestyle.com/guide.